hit ground in Afghanistan, I was at a base in northern Afghanistan, Mazar-e Sharif, and they gave me a clinic out there. So it says, hey doc, this is going to be your clinic. So I was a battalion medical officer with the 841st Combat Engineers, and we had a lot of missions out there. Their main mission was route clearance, picking up bombs on the road, and construction. They did a lot of good stuff. So I was kind of the officer in charge there. And so when I got there, and they gave me this clinic, it was kind of run down, so we spruced it up, and I named it I named
a box or something.
Yeah, it was a small box, a little pharmacy, 2 exam rooms, and I said we're gonna name this clinic the Restrepo Clinic.
Awesome.
So we painted it. We called it the Restrepo Clinic. Deployed with Task Force Hurricane at the time, and everyone knew where to come out there when they got hurt. And at the same time, while being in charge of the clinic out there, I had soldiers, combat medics, just like Restrepo, that would go out on missions.
Right.
So I'm covering the clinic in the camp, and at the same time, I'm aware of what's going on with these guys out there, making sure if they're treating any casualties, or they're getting fired upon or whatnot. It was so it was kind of like dual roles I had out there. A couple times I had the opportunity to actually go out with these guys and see what they did when they did the route clearance. And I tell you, honestly, every day these guys would get up, and when they say PTSD, for most of these guys, because they're getting up every day to go on a route clearing mission. Their mission is to go clear those roads from that that have IEDs, bombs on the road and whatnot. And these guys come back, and
every day, life and death, man, every step. I know.
A couple months in, now it's kicking in. It's the traumatic. You can see the anxiety. I got to go back out. And then I'll be at the camp, and I remember one time these guys got hit. We got IED hit a vehicle, and then they started getting fired upon by some insurgents out there. And I'm just prepping my clinic. I don't know what's going on. There's you got a lot of guys coming with traumatic brain injuries, so TBIs. I don't know. So I have to have everything. I got my medics out. I have some medics back in the camp, and sometimes it's tough. And I had a couple casualties. And there's a time I had a soldier, who was really injured out there, and my medics work, and a lot of them, freeze up, don't know what to do. But I've been doing emergency medicine for a while, and you just got to move and go into action and try to save a life. But you save some.
It clicks in automatic after.
Me, I'm always on the go. I take my time. I see the trauma. I got to deal with it, and for a lot of these new soldiers that had just come out of basic training, and they're getting the first deployment, or they're getting the first mission, and they're young. They see these wounds, and they just, they kind of freeze up. Some of them, try to do what they can, but that's what my job is there to, reassure them and back them up. But you save some, you lose some at the end of the day. But when they say post-traumatic stress, I haven't been in a lot of combat missions. I was really in charge of these injuries, but I come back and I think about what Restrepo went through.
Yeah, you're still seeing both sides of the game here.
I do. Right now I work in the emergency room, and I deal with that here. But one thing is that, you kind of grow really close with these soldiers out there when you deploy, and when it's one of your own, and you lose one.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's
tough.
How did Restrepo die?
He took a bullet to the neck. Restrepo took a bullet to the neck while trying to care for some soldiers while he was fired upon up there on that hill.
So, geographically, that was Korengal? In
the
valley?
It was. It was the Korengal Valley. I think it was the east side. It was closer to Pakistan where he was at. I was stationed in northern. So at that time, the east and the south was, were really rough. Full of Taliban down there.
Yeah, heavy Taliban in those days.
I was embedded mostly with the Europeans, and the Germans were really in charge of the northern Afghanistan. So we kind of went under their command along with the U.S. And the people really kind of work with you in the northern part, but you just never know anywhere out there.
Right.
But Restrepo was out in the Korengal Valley, and I can't compare where I was where he was. They really just put him out in the middle of nowhere. You could have more support, and I just don't know. Sometimes I don't want to get into politics or whatnot, but just being down there, things could have been different.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
What are you doing now that you got out?
Well, now I'm a physician assistant, and I work in the emergency room here in Miami, and deal with trauma and sick people all day. But my gift is, I say, yeah, everyone finds a purpose in life.
You didn't get enough of it, man.
No, I've been doing it for 14 years.
Yeah, it's your passion, bro.
It is. When they say, "Hey, what's your purpose?" I'm like, you know what? I found my purpose. I like to help people, and I did it in the military. My dad actually came from the Caribbean islands. He's from Trinidad, and he joined, and he was in the first Cav, Fort Hood, and he did 3 years. And I always wanted that urge to go in, and I took it about a little over 14 years as a reservist, and got some opportunities to deploy to El Salvador, Honduras, earthquake in Haiti, and then in 2012 my last one was Afghanistan.
Well, you paid your dues, man.
Yeah.
Been around, so.
And
well, I'm glad you made it back.
Good to be here. It's an honor to be part of this ceremony today. Being from Pembroke Pines, and Restrepo being from Pembroke Pines.
That's great, yeah.
And reaching out to his family, finally get to see his mom. And I spoke to her in 2012. I called her when I was in Afghanistan, and so she remembered me because I sent her the pictures. So that was cool.
That's really great.
That was cool.
Yeah, she looked very happy today. I mean, considering.
Yeah, she didn't want to talk to me back then. She was still, I don't blame her, but I wasn't sure if she was actually going to show up today. But just to see the family and her smiles, I mean, that was it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And I'm really excited that you're still here, that you made it back. I made it back. I was fortunate to come back too. And that we're working with what we like to do.
Exactly.
Helping people, spreading the word, and keeping it going.
Absolutely.
So I'm blessed and honored to was able to come down here today, and get in on the celebration. So I got to meet you.
Well, appreciate the the interview and meeting you guys. And one thing I would say, if I have to do it again, I'll do it again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, bro. Be good.
Sir. Good stuff, guys.